Welcome back, everybody. This is episode 12 of Rival Talk. We're your co-hosts. I'm Amo. That's Matt. If you're new here, we just chop it up twice a week. We talk football, we talk rivalries, we talk matchups, and today was a big day. A deadline for a trade deadline was today, so we're going to get into that today as well. We also are going to go over our weekly picks. Of course, we didn't get a chance to record last week, so we went ahead and just tweeted them out. If you haven't already, follow along on Twitter at Rival Talk Pod, and we're also gonna dive into the Commanders game, of course, and then the Cowboys game here at the end. But I'll turn it over to Matt here. Let's dive into some trade deadlines. Pretty
Yeah.
devastating day there in Washington.
Well, first of all, I was very active on the Twitter today. Again, you should go follow us. Come bring us back in, or go follow us. You can stay up to date. Kind of our live reactions from the trade deadline, everything that happened today. There was a lot. It was kind of a devastating day. It was a devastating day, not just for me, but everyone in Washington. So we actually have a guest today. You forgot to mention that in kind of the overview. But we do have a guest today. He is a friend of mine, and he is a Commanders fan. So he is going to come in, talk some sports with us, talk the Commanders. We'll get his reaction, we'll get my reaction, we'll get Amo's reaction. We'll all just look at it because it was kind of a hectic day. I mean, we're recording here now after 4 p.m., obviously, but so the day's over. Trades are done for this season. The rosters are almost kind of set, now it's just pick up on from free agency and waivers. But yeah, let's bring in my friend. His name is Sam. He's a Commies fan from the DMV area. Grew up a Commies fan, and excited to get his takes on some of these things because there was a lot that happened today. How you doing, Sam?
Good. How are you guys?
Welcome.
Glad you could come and join us for today.
Appreciate it.
Kind of a sad day, Kind of feels like it was our team kind of thrown in the towel. Kind of feels like it was a last fuck you from Ron Rivera,
It's not a good day to be a Commanders fan. It really isn't. Feels like we just wasted 2 first-round picks to get back a second and a third.
Yeah, it basically is what happened. I guess then we should start on this one of these first ones for the free agency. First move of free agency was actually not a commie. It felt like the first move was the commies, but it wasn't. Leonard Williams was traded from the Giants to the Seahawks for a second and a fifth. Kind of starting off the thing, sets the price of what a D tackle goes for. And then the next trade is Montez Sweat to the Bears for a second round pick. It kind of makes you feel better. It's like a high second round pick. The season ended right now. It'd be a 20 or the 35th pick. So, it's not a bad pick, but, it's Montez Sweat. He had this team. He was really good. Had some good years, stayed healthy most of the time. Sam, how did you feel about the Montez Sweat trade?
I mean, it's hard. Obviously, we weren't going to be able to pay everyone on the defensive line. It just really sucks because he was someone that never got hurt. You literally just there every game, it felt like. Might not have made so many plays, but it just felt like he was a leader for the team, and we kind of just said, like, we're not going to pay you. Bye.
Yeah,
He was definitely a consistent piece on your defense. I agree. He was always on the field. Like you said, didn't miss much time. But it's like you said, you can't pay everybody. You guys kind of expected to lose. Montez Sweat, didn't you?
Yeah, my first
It was
reaction
one of the two.
seeing him when seeing that he got traded was that we couldn't pay both of them. When I saw that he got traded, I thought we were gonna keep Chase Young. We'll get to that today.
That's what we figured.
We thought that trade Montez Sweat, pay Chase Young. We had to keep one, keep the number 2 overall pick, the guy that we drafted.
It really sucks because I feel like all of the offseason, every media post was, here come the Commanders with a top 5 defensive line. we might have one of the worst offensive lines now, or defensive lines. Ugh, sorry. Like I don't know where we go from here on the defense.
Yeah, we have.
Especially if Rivera won't address any of the problems.
especially this season. Like, oh boy, because they leave today. Like they're gone. That's man. And you guys even haven't even played Cowboys yet. You still got division games left.
Yeah,
I would not be happy. It is definitely a sad day in Washington. I like Chase Young too. It surprised me. I mean, a second overall pick, that's almost any position. That's usually a franchise guy. Like usually a second overall pick stays for quite a while unless they suck. But Chase Young doesn't suck. You just, I guess, can't afford him
I wouldn't even say that he doesn't suck, but like he really hasn't lived up to how dominant he was in college. Like
due to injury. But yeah,
yeah, but even still, like he's just a pressure machine. He doesn't actually get stats that we want.
right. Just pressures. Like pressures don't. I mean, if it's forcing incompletions, like they can mean a lot. But if you're not getting sacks,
Yeah.
His stats would look a whole lot better with a better secondary.
Even
agreed.
a solid linebacker. I mean, the problems on the defense did not root from the defensive line, but I think they just kind of realized that a defensive line doesn't really solve a defensive problems. There's a lot more you can get by with a mediocre defensive line. I think that's what they're going to see this in this tenure. Like we have Casey Toonhill on one side and Fedarius Mathis from Alabama, our first round or
I
our
don't even
recruit
know if
last
I
year.
don't think he's playing line, or I think he's an interior. We still have
Is
a
he?
problem at the right side.
So it just makes
Yes.
even more sense. Sorry. It makes even more note. It makes even less sense why to trade Chase Young.
Yeah, I think our right end now is the rookie KJ Henry from Clemson,
I
or
mean,
it's the guy from Nigeria, Ife Obada.
just
Using day
upsetting.
Washington. Using day. Because like you said, Sam, I mean, you traded what, 2 first round picks for got a second and a third in return a few years later.
Yeah, it doesn't feel good at all.
No, I wouldn't be too happy, especially because you got rid of both. Like I could have lived with one, but man,
I think
We traded
I'm a
up
realistically,
to get
Cowboys
one
fan,
first.
and it makes me happy. It just sucks for it's just confusing, and like it sucks for you guys for sure. But
I feel like or Matt could probably agree with this, but I feel like realistically neither of them get traded and they both get paid if Del Rio was a little more understanding that okay, I might have a good defensive line, but that doesn't mean they're going to get there every time. You still have to blitz. Like blitzing is still part of the defense. We
I
we
mean,
don't blitz.
it also doesn't help that our defense has let up 30 plus points in what all the games but two this season.
Yeah, 6 out of the 8.
Yeah, like our defense can't stop anything. I guess
yeah, your
they
corner
realize that they're
situation doesn't look too great, and you even drafted a corner who's
Yeah, even that. I mean, that was ridiculous. We passed up on 2 corners that were taken after him. Looked like stars.
yeah.
I mean, who are the two? Gonzalez
Banks
and
and, Banks and Gonzalez. We should have took Banks. He's a Maryland guy.
yeah. I mean, we were talking about it during the game. I mean, I feel like this is the other trades that happened at the deadline were a little less involving us. I mean, just looking at them, it was Donovan Peoples-Jones from the Browns to the Lions.
I do
I
think
don't, I
that's a
don't
good
even get that
pickup for
trade.
Lions, to be honest. I
I
like
don't.
him.
I don't
They
even
just
get
have
the trade.
so much depth at wide receiver. I feel like.
Yeah, like Jameis Williams has like 8 catches on the season. Maybe just get him involved first.
Yeah, but did you not see him? It was either this, I think it was this, no, 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. He had so many drops. He had like one catch with like 8 drops. They were hitting him in the hands on deep balls. Like he's wide open. Great route runner. He's super fast, but man, he's got to catch the ball. He's just got to focus. I think that's all it is. He's obviously got the ability. He made it to the league. He's just, I don't know.
Yeah,
But I think that is a good pickup. What did they give up for him? Do you have it pulled up?
A 6th round pick, maybe? I'm not even sure.
I don't remember seeing. I just saw it on Twitter earlier.
I like him.
Then
Good
there
line.
was Rasul Douglas to the Bills.
Yeah, they've
like
they've been getting banged up in the secondary all season.
Yeah.
I saw that coming, or them signing somebody that's not on a roster. But who'd they give up for? Would they give up for Rasul Douglas?
A 3rd round pick.
And then I feel like another big trade that was kind of slept on was the Josh Dobbs to the Vikings.
Bro, it's
Loved that.
crazy to
I
me.
I loved that move.
Me too.
That was a great move. Realistically, their options were Tannehill, Winston, or I guess Dobbs, and that was the best of the three.
Yeah,
Hey, it's crazy. He was getting benched this week. Like they're
Well, that's probably why they were
gonna
benching.
start. You think they were having conversations before?
I
And
think
then
they knew he was getting traded, and we're like, all right, like we're just not gonna play him.
But
No.
why announce that he's getting benched? Because it's either he's not going to be on the team by the game day or he's going to be on the team. Like, why announce that you were benching him?
So
Just
the
'cause
Cardinals can get any sort of media attention because they suck.
I guess so.
yeah, I guess just to have the starter named for the week, just so there's no confusion. I mean, so the team knows as well. I guess.
I mean, this every week we're going to talk about him, Jordan Addison. This helps him in the time, and then eventually it'll probably. I mean, I'm still not sold that Justin Jefferson will be back this season.
It just depends on Dobbs. If Dobbs can play
depends.
well, Jefferson's there.
Yeah, if they're winning games and in contention, Jefferson's back. But if they just keep losing, I think.
Like I honestly don't think that. Well, also the Vikings have Nick Mullins, who could be a fine starter as well, but I don't think the offense is their problem. Their defense is horrible.
Yeah, I mean, Kirk Cousins was winning games. They just won, I think, 4 straight or something.
3, I think.
Yeah, they were on a win streak. Kirk was finding a way to make it happen without Justin Jefferson. I mean, had to love it because it was with Jordan Addison as a fantasy owner of his. He is amazing. I hope Josh Dobbs, who was playing very competitive football in Carolina, or sorry, Arizona.
I am excited to see what he does with the serviceable offense.
Yeah.
I like the move because it's not like they went and got somebody who's been sitting on the bench for 8 weeks and now they need him to start. He's started for 8 weeks of the season.
Yeah,
But
He's
they
literally a
did
rocket
have to be on the
scientist.
bench.
He's gonna pick up the playbook in a second, but he's not even starting this weekend. I actually saw that the Vikings are gonna start. What's his name?
Jaron Hall.
Yeah, Jaron Hall against the Falcons. But
yeah, I mean, it is a whole playbook that he has to learn. So give it a week, but he'll be, unless Jaron Hall goes off and throws for 6 touchdowns and 400 yards, we'll probably see Dobbs in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he also has to compete with Nick Mullins still.
Yeah, but I mean, it sounds like Nick Mullins already lost the job.
Well, he's injured.
Oh, when does he come back then? Do you know?
Next week.
Oh, okay. So, they'll have a nice little competition in camp.
They did go and get him for a reason. I mean, I guess they kind of had to. They had to add a quarterback to that room. But I think I do agree with Matt. I think Josh Dobbs will be on the field soon enough. And
Yeah.
I think that brings us to our last trade of we kind of touched on it a little bit, but
yeah, Chase Young to the 49ers. So it's really the last trade of the day almost. I don't think anything really happened after that. It honestly.
Why them? Why them?
Yeah, like honestly, of all teams, like
in my life, the Commanders have had 2 top 5 picks, I think. At least that I can remember. And both of them we have traded to the 49ers for a 3rd round pick.
Who was the other one?
Trent Williams. He was a 4th overall pick.
Well, we just messed that whole thing up.
You are
traded him for a 3rd round pick. But I did see that with that 3rd round pick, we drafted Terry McLaurin. So, maybe we can have another 3rd round gem. Probably not. We'll probably draft some guy who will never play a snap in the NFL.
That sounds like us.
Like, I saw a tweet that was like, the rebuild is on. Why When is the rebuild not on? Like
Yeah,
when do we win?
it feels like it's been on for years.
It seems like we are like a highway in DC. It's just always under construction. It doesn't matter when you're there. It will always be under construction from the day you're born to the day you die. Like when do we ever get to see the final product?
I saw you tweeted that earlier. You said for the 10th straight year in DC, the rebuild is on.
Like
That's
it
how it
does
is.
not make sense. Like
I
I
love
mean,
to see it, but
it looks like Sam Howell's the guy. We're gonna have a ton of draft picks. We're gonna have a ton of salary cap. Like
Yeah.
we're gonna pay Cameron Curl. We still don't have to pay Sam Howell, who looks like he could be the guy. Sam Howell looks good. I can't lie. Like he does.
He's got a lot to work on. His under pressure, dealing with him under pressure is not a good look for him so far.
I mean, yeah, he's not good under pressure, but he's also the most pressured quarterback in the league. He's a young quarterback who's getting pressured on every play. Like,
no. So you say he's the most pressured because he is the most sacked.
is he not the
But
most pressured?
I don't believe he is the most pressured. I know that your offensive line is not like the worst in the league as far
It,
as
it might be.
like I saw literally a stat yesterday earlier today yesterday. I'm gonna see if I can find it real quick actually.
I mean, he's definitely the most sacked quarterback. That is not a fact, or that is not a
Yeah,
sentence we can argue.
most sacked, but I don't believe the most pressured. So that just means he needs
I
to
mean,
throw the ball away sometimes.
he needs to throw the ball away sometimes, and I think he needs to throw the ball quicker, which I think over this season we have seen him work on. He
But
is
I've also seen a stat like his the amount of time he gets each play is not very much. So
no.
job in DC is quite difficult. O line is not giving him.
But I guess now we can go pay O line instead of D line. I guess that was the game plan, you know.
It's true. No, I mean,
Got to protect the
although
quarterback.
although he looked fine against the Eagles, he looked great. Like he threw the ball. Like we had no run game,
Yeah, I
like
feel
at
like
all.
this is honestly a great segue to go into that Eagles game. Take a deep dive into it. We lost. We played our second best game of the year, I think, behind the first time we played the Eagles. um, we lost by 7 points. Who would have thought that we could, play our two best games of football against the Eagles? Jalen Hurts got stopped on the goal line in the play that they say works 92% of the time, the tush push. Lakami stopped it. Not only did we stop it on first and goal, we've got a fumble. We got the ball on it, and we kept them out. I think I saw something that our defense in this game, which probably helped to trading away our two ends. It was like each drive, it was like touchdown, fumble, touchdown, fumble, touchdown, 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 punt, touchdown, or something like that. Like, they just and both of those fumbles, one fumble was on the 5 yard line and one fumble was on the 1 yard line. So it's like not like we were stopping them. It's like we got lucky at the end. But Sam Howell did play pretty well. I mean, almost 400 yards, 4 touchdowns. Did have an interception. It was a pretty bad interception, but what can you
But
do?
he also threw the ball 52 times because we genuinely can't run the ball. Like he's being forced to throw the ball at this point,
Yeah.
and it's bad.
And not have much time to do so.
No, not at all.
I'm
But
But
surprised.
I do like the enemy and his game plan a lot of the time. Sometimes like every offensive coordinator has some questionable calls. Like for the most part, he knows what he's dealing with and tries to get the ball out as quick as possible into our playmakers.
I
yeah,
saw a tweet today that said Eric Bieniemy is essentially this was like the source was like from like inside the locker room, so who knows who it's from? Probably like some water boy or something. So who knows the validity behind it? But it said Eric Bieniemy is essentially the head coach with everything except for the title.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, pretty much.
So
I guess inside the locker room, he's running everything. I mean, that's why I think really helps to the Chase Young trade away for nothing because it was a Ron Rivera does have roster control. He is basically our GM, so it could have been a little fuck you from him. He's like,
Yeah, he
probably
basically
should have
gave
been
us the field.
fired. He is gonna get fired, and who knows? This week, next week, 3 weeks from now. I hope it's before the end of the season. I hope it's sooner rather than later.
He's gone. I
The
mean,
offense looks good. The defense looks awful. I don't know. Jack Rio just step back, step back, step back. That's how his time in DC has gone.
I mean, it's like I said before, it's just too much trust in the defensive line and not enough trust in building up the rest of the defense. Like the D line can't do it all. As good as we've been in the run game on defense, like it's just not. It's not everything.
Yeah.
you need a linebacker. You need some corners.
I'm pretty sure as long as I can remember, as long as I can remember watching this football team, I have asked for a good linebacker. What was the last one? The last good one I've been alive for.
London
Maybe,
Fletcher.
maybe I saw the maybe I saw the end of that.
Yeah, we did get him in the end of his career, so
We had Okafor, right?
yeah.
What was his name? Yeah, is that right?
Nah, Brian Arakpo. That's what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
Rakpo. Yeah, we had Rakpo, but that wasn't like his main years.
So those were the only two that really came to mind. I mean, other than Ryan Kerrigan, but more DN.
Yeah, Kerrigan was more. Yeah, he was more of a rusher. Like we've never had a pass coverage linebacker.
Yeah.
It's just embarrassing.
I would love
But
I do
I
have
also
one more thought on that on the Chase Young trade though. I truly think your front office saw that the NFC is really, other than the Niners, it's the Cowboys and the Eagles. So you guys said, fuck you, I'm gonna go stack up the Niners and just let that defense go crazy. Cause what the fuck? It still doesn't make sense. It makes me so mad because like the Niners, they obviously have our number. Like I don't want to see them, and now their defense is even better. And like, man, that sucks. They already went and got Randy Gregory like 2 weeks ago. Like they're just loading up that D line.
that's why I didn't even
And they have
understand the trade.
Bosa still. Like
Yeah,
what?
I didn't even understand. Like you just traded for Gregory. What is Chase Young gonna fill?
yeah.
Insane. Well, I think he plays over Randy Gregory.
I guess one of them
Also,
maybe
like,
moves to defensive tackle.
I mean, they're gonna rotate them all in. They're all gonna get snaps. That defense is already so good too. God, that sucks. Dang.
it was a tough day to be a Commies fan. I wore black because this is the death of the team. The season's over. The towel's been thrown in. The only thing is, it feels like, when do you guys watch the Swamp King documentary? It feels like we hit our 2 losses for the season, and all our hope is that our quarterback can go off, maybe win the Heisman. He can't win any award, but it would be nice to see him put up solid numbers, show that our offense will be ready to go next year with a better O line and a solid linebacker. That's what we want.
As
Fuck a first round pick, offensive lineman. Give me a linebacker.
It's not even that. It's just like if you even look at the past 2 years of drafting, besides Will Anderson, who can you even name a good linebacker? I mean, the Cowboys got a good one this year. I forget his name, Overshawn or whatever.
yeah, the Demarion Overshown.
He
He
looks
tore
pretty
his
good.
ACL. He'll be back next year though. And
It's just because
oh yeah,
the
agency.
college defenses are going to like front down, like front centers and like nickel and dime packages. Like I feel like the solid linebacker that's made for the NFL isn't really going through college anymore. Like it's not coming out as often.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like that's why it's so hard to find talent because we play a pretty shitty defense the way we already play. So how are we going to fit someone into this defense?
Hopefully, we have a nice defensive coordinator next year who can solve all of our problems. It's all about coaching. That's what we'll tell ourselves. D'Amico Ryan can solve some problems, even though they lost to a winless team. But it all can work out.
I don't think he's gone after a year, but you'll figure it out. I mean, if I was a Commanders fan the rest of the season, the only thing I would want to see is just Sam Howell taking the right steps towards the future, so you could finally find your guy. I mean, it's been such a long time before you've had a QB you could believe in. So you guys still aren't going to be good, but like if he keeps having games where he's throwing for almost 400 yards, getting sacked, and still putting up 4 tuds.
I mean, he
I
only
would be
got sacked
happy.
one time this week.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
He got sacked once this week.
Well, I guess that's why he threw for 400 yards and 4 tuds.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that
I
won't
mean, the
that won't
sack
be
was
our.
late too. Like it was late in the game. I
Yeah.
think it was actually our last offensive play, and I said,
No, it was our second. It was
"Oh,
the 2 minute
turnover
drill.
on downs where we went down by 2 touchdowns, and then
Yeah.
we scored in 30 seconds by throwing to Jamison Crowder,
So it's
Yeah.
right when they needed it.
and then we just couldn't get the onside kick."
That's perfect football.
But I would not expect, and I'm not gonna say I wouldn't expect another game like this, but this is just because we couldn't run the ball and he was forced to throw the ball 52 times.
I mean, you can't say that you shouldn't expect this because you 100% should expect this. You should expect this every game because this is what our offenses became ever since we threw the ball 52 times straight just in the Bears game. Like this is what you should start expecting. Like Sam Howell is going to sling the ball, and we need him to be making completions and making good reads. That's what we want to see from this year. See
It
our
is,
young wide
but
receivers like Johan Dotson and take the right step. Have Terry McLaurin, prove himself. Not prove himself because we know who he is. Like he's on his contract. I think Curtis Samuel is probably gonna be gone.
like I'm fine with that. Like I'm fine with bringing Diami Brown into a bigger role.
Yeah,
Use his speed. I haven't seen him enough since
It's
you
just that
drafted.
I just like
I've
the
never seen.
UNC connection. He's got the connection with Howell from college. That's fine.
yeah. I feel like we should now get into the rival part of the rival talk, the Cowboys. Um, you guys kind of just dominate this week.
I mean that seems to be all of our wins except for the Chargers. I mean, we still won that game, but I don't know. I'm happy with it. I really am because in previous episodes I've talked about how I wasn't impressed by our offense. I was not impressed by some decisions on third downs, the predictability to run the ball on first, but they're kind of letting Dak just throw the ball. And I mean, we're being smart with it. Dak's playing a lot better, even with his pick. I mean, that got tipped at the line, then a receiver tipped it. Whatever. Threw 4 touchdowns. CD went crazy. I like what our offense is turning into, even though we can't really run the ball.
Yeah, that's what I want to. I mean, Tony
Yeah.
Pollard just doesn't look like what you were expecting him to be.
But our issue is not our running back. It is our offensive line. Like as good as our offensive line can be, it's really weird. Our backups are way better at run blocking, but like our starters are very good at pass blocking, and we have pretty good pass protection. But when it comes to the run game, some of them are getting old and slow, can't get to the second level, um, and yeah, we can't run the ball. I mean, you are right. Tony is not producing to the level we would like, but we can't put all the blame on him.
No, I
But
mean, you're
it,
5-2. I'm not sure there's much blame to put on anybody when you have a winning record.
I mean,
yeah, but I'd like to see us run the ball a little bit more. I mean, you do see Tony start to struggle without having that other like really reliable back that kind of that bruiser back in Zeke. And then he's kind of the change of pace guy. But I hope we figure it out. We did just get our running backs coach back after missing the first 6 weeks of the season. So maybe that has something to do with it. I mean, he was dealing with a family matter away from the team for 6 weeks. But did you guys get a chance to watch the game at all?
I didn't watch much of it. I did see that it looks like you guys still have a red zone problem.
Uh,
You scored one of your 4 touchdowns in the red zone. I mean, it doesn't look like you guys were in the red zone a lot. Had a
well, that's
field
because
in the red
all
zone.
Dak's passing touchdowns were over like 15 yards outside the red zone.
Yeah, it looks like you guys had a field goal in the third quarter in the red zone, 1 touchdown in the red zone.
They had 2 touchdowns in the red zone.
I wasn't even paying that deep attention to like our red zone percentage just because the score. When you go up that early, it's really hard to watch the game really critically
Yeah.
because you're just like, all right, bet I've
I mean,
seen
you
this
guys
before.
you guys got up to 33-3. Like you guys were up 30 points.
They almost came back for a second, but not really.
Yeah.
I was never really scared, but they did start to put up points, and I was like, oh shit! But then Matt Stafford did end up getting hurt.
Do you
But
think that Jake Ferguson can kind of fill into like a, I'm not comparing him to Jason Witten, but kind of be like that guy for the next few
like
years?
the stereotypical reliable tight end for the Cowboys.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
do.
I think every team kind of needs one.
Yeah, I do. I mean, he's got great hands. He's athletic, and from what I've seen between last year and this year, he's like he's maturing as far as like becoming an NFL player. Like he's making like good plays, smart decisions. He's filling the gaps when he's running routes. He's a good blocker. I do think he can. And I mean that tight end room's kind of loaded. I mean, we drafted another tight end this past year, Luke Schoonmaker out of Michigan in second round. And
I feel like good
I mean,
teams just always have great tight ends.
we always keep it kind of loaded because we do kind of like the two tight end sets in the red zone, which I think it might be killing us a little bit, but who knows? I overall I do think our offense has taken the steps in the right direction as far as using motion, throwing the ball, not being predictable. But we do need to get better at running the ball. Um, yeah, we'll see. But the last thing I'll say about the game is Deron Bland is a dog. I mean, he's
Oh,
third pick six of the season.
that's
The
crazy.
record in a season is 4. Um, through his first 24 games, he has 9 picks. Trayvon Diggs had 12 through his first 24. Like last year, he only played in. Actually, I don't even think he's played 24 games. He only started 8 games last year. He was playing inside, playing some nickel. Now they move him outside. He's got 3 pick sixes. It's crazy.
Was he drafted by the Cowboys?
Late,
Wow.
late. And then actually one more thing. The PFF's like number 1 overall like late graded linebacker like the last 2 weeks is Marquise Bell for the Cowboys. I mean, he was a safety up until preseason, and then with Leighton Vander Esch's injury, we've needed him to step up, and he has. He,
I feel like
he
Vander Esch is always injured.
he's fast. He's tall, lanky. He can cover, of course. He used to play safety, so man, I love Dan Quinn and our scouting department when it comes to our defense for real. They're
Yeah.
crazy,
Yeah.
crazy.
Your defense
But
did step up this week,
I
showing the
need them to step up again. Need them to do the same thing next week because we got a big task. That Eagles offense is legit and their defense is also very good. So we got to buckle up and play exactly how we played. I mean, last week and against the Patriots, every team that we've absolutely blown out. If we play like that, we can compete with anybody. Because obviously we didn't play like that against the Niners. We were not explosive. We were making mistakes. I mean, we weren't even like
It was a very predictable, it felt like.
the Cowboys Niners game.
Yeah, it just felt like the Niners knew everything that was coming before it ever happened.
Yeah, it kind of did.
Speaking of the Niners, you guys now have the same record as them with them losing.
Well, no, they have a better record because the Niners haven't had their bye yet.
Oh, are you guys not
They
5-2?
they lost 3 straight. We only have 2 losses.
I mean,
Somehow the Cardinals and then the Niners. We horrible, man. We look bad. If we win this week, I mean, you got to give us some respect. Watch out. Watch out. But we're the Cowboys, so we don't do it consistently,
Are
which is
you
why
one of
we
the
talk about.
are
What's
you
up?
are you one of the Cowboys fans that says it every year that this is our year?
It's hard not to the last like 2 years because we've actually had like a loaded roster, like a real chance, and then we fucking blow it in the playoffs. Like, I mean, after the Niners game this year, I was like, oh no, no way. But I don't know. Seeing the way the Niners went and played the next 3 weeks, and then they're still probably going to be in the NFC Championship. Like, who knows? It's the NFL. So, not every year, but I'd like it to be for sure.
What do
I
we
try. I try not to be one of the annoying Cowboys fans. I try to be as real as possible, but I'm definitely a Dak defender. I'll definitely defend Dak, and yeah, I'd like to fucking win one.
It's hard to be realistic when you're a Commanders fan. It really is hard to have
Yeah.
hope. You just kind of know. I think when we were watching the game this weekend, I was like, we're not getting this. And then we score and Matt's in my ear screaming. I knew it was gonna happen.
It
I
was
mean,
just, you know,
defense played well early, and then they let up 21 points in the fourth quarter. So
It's usually different. We're usually a second half team.
that is true.
yeah,
Usually fight and
we
keep it close at
we
the
couldn't
end.
be a full game team, you know. We couldn't do it for 4 quarters.
That's not us. We've not done that.
Not when your
Like,
head coach
let's do
is
1 to
checked
2
out.
quarters max.
Yeah, no. If only we
So
could like
checked
pick
out.
and choose those quarters.
He doesn't care what's happening.
Anything
No,
big happen around the league? You guys want to talk about? Any big games? Anything cool? The Jets
No, I
game,
mean,
19
had a
or
pretty up
Jets Giants game, you know, I think had 29 punts or something in it.
the most since like 2003, like in a game, which
Yeah.
is crazy. And did you see the ending of that game?
Yeah.
Did you see how the Jets spotted it for themselves and then like they did it real quick, spike it 1 second? That
yeah.
what do you think? Do you think that should have been a second on the clock, or do you think it should have been
I
game?
think I actually said it when we were watching. I was like, the ref has to spot the ball. That was not legal at
Yeah,
all.
I mean, they
But
spotted the ball and the ref just kind of touched it. I mean,
Mhm.
seems very unofficial. I mean,
That's
if you're
very
gonna keep
important, though. That's
if
all
you're
he
gonna
has to do.
yeah, because if you're
So
gonna keep the clock running, like they can move the spot after. Like if it was really that important, like if they moved it 10 yards, like they could go into the booth. I guess not move it after because it would be a next play, but
yeah, and I also saw a video on the play before it where they got like 20 yards and they called Kayvon offsides. He actually, if you look at the video, he wasn't even offsides. It was a blown, which
I
resulted
see.
in a clock. It resulted in the clock stopping, allowing the Jets to pick a play.
yeah. Um,
We also have Devontae Adams, one catch this week. That didn't look too good for the Raiders.
So
I'm pretty sure
very
in the third quarter, the announcer made a comment that said that like that was Jimmy Garoppolo, that their quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy Garoppolo's first completion to a player that was or like a first completion to a wide receiver, like midway through the third or something. Like he only had completions to Josh Jacobs and their tight end.
Cooper and Mayer.
It was like, why do you pay this guy? Like he should have been traded today. He should have walked out of that locker room last night, demanded a trade, and got traded today.
can't go
Yeah,
anywhere.
it just kind of sucks that like they
I
played
know.
the Monday night
Expensive.
game. Yeah, they also played like they would have had to trade him in like 24-hour notice.
Yeah, I mean, what was that? The corner on the Bears tried to do that today.
Jalen Johnson.
Yeah,
Wish the Commanders got him.
I would have been down with like us.
Cowboys were rumored to have interest in him as well.
Yeah, he's a great player and he's 24. Need that.
I'm kind of upset we didn't make any moves. I mean, I guess we made all our moves before the season. I mean, Stephon Gilmore and Brandon Cooks are starters for us, and they've made game-winning plays in multiple games for us this season. So
How has Gilmore looked? I don't really watch Cowboys games, but like, is he looking like? Does
he's
he look
not
like a coverage guy?
not a number one corner. He's not a number one. He's going to struggle a lot without Diggs against these really fast receivers, like against the Cardinals. Hollywood Brown was all over the field. super fast. So if he gets matched up against these really quick guys, we're kind of screwed. But Deron Bland is kind of trying to fill that role. I mean, he's a ball hawk, but overall, Gilmore's looked good. It took him 20 minutes to get his first pick as a Cowboy, and then he has a game-winning pick against the Chargers. So overall, he's looked good. He's getting cooked sometimes, but our pass rush is so good that he only needs to stay in coverage for so long.
Yeah.
So at 32, this is one of the best pass rushes he's playing behind, so he'll be fine. And then, I mean, Cooks, we finally have gotten him involved. He scored in back-to-back weeks. Finally getting him involved. Up until last week, he had like 80 yards through like 5 weeks of football. It was crazy. But I don't really know who I wanted us to go and get, but somebody because every good team right now is getting better as far as going out and getting players. The Bills, Eagles, the Niners all went and traded. So like, I don't know. It's good to see we're confident in our guys, but we got to be real. Go get some help where we need it, especially losing somebody like Trayvon Diggs.
Yeah, that's a big one.
I'm excited for the rest of the year though, especially this week. If we win, yeah, I'm gonna be a different type of hype the rest of the year.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for this year to be over.
Tell me about it.
You know, like there's nothing good that can happen anymore. Like what we can have individual success, but that means nothing.
Yeah.
I'd
But
rather have like the worst quarterback in the league but have a winning record than have the best quarterback in the league with a losing record.
Like what is minimal success even look like? Like I guess Sam Howell progressing a little bit, but like how far does that even get us?
Like,
We'll just
what
have to
is best case scenario this season for you guys? Actually, like, would you rather lose out,
Lose
get a
out.
high draft pick, or would you rather see your team stay competitive, show signs of life for maybe?
I just want to win. I want to win next week because I don't want to. I just want to see the Commanders just beat Belichick. I don't think I can remember the last time we've ever done that. So I just want to see that. That would be cool.
Not an
And then,
unrealistic goal either.
and then
Thanks.
I want to beat the Giants in the next time, and then we can lose the rest of the games, and I would consider it a fine season.
Yeah, I mean, the Giants are probably gonna finish at like 3-14. Like if we could finish at like 4-13, 5-12,
Realistically, yeah, it's probably going to be 5-12.
somewhere in there, like bad enough where we probably have a top 10 pick, like not good enough where like we're playing for anything, but like we win some stupid games. Ron Rivera gets fired. We just get to see EB, kind of try and implement his thing. And then we sign him for like a 2-year deal, half guaranteed, so he's fireable after 1 year if he's really bad. Basically,
After 1 year as a head coach, that's all you'd give him.
He's going to be a fine head coach, in my opinion.
It's
like a 2-year
way
thing,
too long.
but like I feel like he needs a prove it year. I mean, I guess they did just blow up his whole team, so it doesn't matter. This is all irrelevant because we don't have a team anymore for him to even coach. So
Like it sounds like an overreaction when you say you don't have a team anymore, but like when you lose two big pieces like that on the defense, like
it's 2 first-round picks, and we traded up for one of those first-round picks.
yeah, like picks that set you back a little bit just to be able to get them. Now you don't even get that in return. You get a
I mean,
second.
neither
third.
of them are worth a first round pick in trading wise, but like
Of course.
it's really hard to see them both go, especially like you said earlier, like he was the second overall pick.
Right.
He's a
Usually a
generational
franchise
talent.
guy.
We're supposed to put him on every billboard from Maryland to south part of Virginia. Like,
Yeah, but what are all the commercials that they do? The AutoZone commercials, the car commercials. No more Chase Young for those.
yeah, no more. But yeah, I feel like on this sad note of us being miserable, I feel like this is where we gotta just wrap it up. We're just gonna keep spiraling here as Commander fans. There is no hope anymore. The only hope is that Rivera gets fired.
Yeah, I guess. I
Pretty
mean, I
much.
love to see it. I'm happy Sam was able to come on today, provide you some comfort in these tough times.
Yeah. Thank you,
Thank you
Sam,
for
for
having me.
joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. I mean, like Matt said, I mean, I think that is a good place to stop. I mean, if you made it this far, we appreciate you for tagging along. We appreciate you, Sam, for joining us once again. And like we always say, check us out on Twitter at Rival Talk Pod and on TikTok at rival.talk.pod. And we'll catch you next time for make some picks for next week.